afternoon, everybody. It is nice to see um, those all of our very good friend and well wishers who have been working for promotion and development of Ayurveda and traditional medicine and even the drugs from herbs. And it is a very good combination today. What we have the administrators, academics, and the industrialists, and in fact. Uh, all of them are we are here to promote Ayurveda. At the beginning, I heard one thing that the when Dr. Sastri Saab was telling about the our today's forum and Dr. Ramanathanji that you told about that Wikipedia comments about Ayurveda. So this is nothing new. I believe that for several cases we get, and the same thing was echoed with our Chaudhary Sahab, Anand Chaudhary Sahab. But I agree with Dr. Sastri that there are some people who are there to make such a noise, but that gives us rather a good hope to do more work. And say like the same thing happened. I maybe that you have witnessed that when this Microsoft came, that in their spelling grammar, Ayurveda was coming as a red because the spelling was not there included. So I, in fact, wrote several times there, and I'm happy to see nowadays they have included in their uh, dictionary. So we have to work from the small aspects, and the things will definitely grow, and that's what is happening in this our area of Ayurveda, traditional medicines, and so on. But I believe that definitely that we have to have our own scientific evidences on those drugs and herbs what we are using, on which a lot of Indian companies, administrations, and our regulators they are working together. See, when we talk about Ayurveda, we have the codified system of medicines, and what Sastisa was telling, say there are a lot of non-codified system, and in fact, those Lok Shastra Parampara, which is being practiced from generation to generation, their documentation, validation, and scientific evaluations is the need of the hour. And on that aspects, we have been working with the Society for Ethnopharmacology and presently with our institutes. And as you know all that when our this recent COVID pandemic has given us lot of lesson, definitely many are bad, but some are very good that the use of medicinal plants and those practices. And I used to tell in many forums that this is the time only what I saw starting from the politicians, bureaucrats, scientists, common people, everybody talk about the use of those traditional practices, which definitely uh, increasing the it was working as a immunity booster, immunomodulator, or whatever it be. But at the end, we are getting devoid of COVID, and this was the case in Northeast India specifically. As you might be knowing that, say for a long time, even there was no infection and there's less infection even. And one of the major things, what hypothesis we derived at this Institute of Bioresource and Sustainable Development, where I am presently working in the institute under Department of Biotechnology, and this institute specifically works on the we work on the with the mission on bioresource management and the sustainable development for the socio-economic growth of the region. Our main target is the bioeconomy development, and in this particular context, what I feel that when more than 45% or more people of this Himalayan region, they have been working in this in for their healthcare and other things with the traditional healers people. I believe that there are several things beside our codified system what Ayurveda have, and even lot many Ayurvedic herbs are being repeated here as well. So these are all our learning from our ancestors and learning from our nature. So we have our traditions. We need to be mixed with the innovations, and then we can have this ethnopharmacology, knowledge empowerment, and exchange for developing platform for knowledge exchange and empowerment for this ancestors medicine. So friends, on this context, we are trying our best on developing ethno-entrepreneurship, which is the societal sustainable bioeconomy incubation model involving different parts of the northeastern region. And in fact, very recently, to us, we have made a Himalayan Bioresource Mission program, which was inaugurated by our minister, where this our institutes, Institute of Bioresource and Sustainable Development, with others, we are making something on that for developing those not only traditional medicines but traditional food and other bioresources of Himalaya. So in this particular context, when we talk about entrepreneurship, I can see there are Dr. Majid and Dr. Katia, Dr. Puranik, and many of you are here. So you please think on that very angle where there are a lot of untapped resource which are there, which has not been taken into context. But here, if we can have this commercialization and benefit sharing these things for development of maybe nutraceutical, phytopharmaceutical, herbal cosmetics, herbal extracts, or whatever it may be in this particular context. But with those documentation, validations, and their commercialization and benefit sharing with the traditional healers can definitely give us a very big repository of knowledge by which we can safeguard our own tradition, we can develop new drugs, we can develop new phytoceuticals, nutraceuticals, and many more, which will be as effective as we have observed during this COVID time. So the major context, definitely we all know about this Ayurveda rejuvenating the human health, and we don't get a disease. That's what we need, and don't need a drug. Rather, we need good food, and we need to be very, very active on that particular context. But definitely one thing is that quality related safety issues, what I want to tell, which is my major field of area of work, on which there are several things to do, and all of you know about many of these issues. There's that it is a good thing that we take everything natural is safe, but it is not always correct, because sometimes it is not uniformly regulated, and many claims can be made, but that they are poorly documented. So one thing of what we need to do is on that, the validations of these herbal medicines, the scientific evidences through different contexts, including the marker quality control of standardizations, validations, evidence-based approach, confirming the potency, shelf-life, stability, which can very well again help in to anticipate the active components, detect the adulterants or spurious drug determinations, evaluation of therapeutic activity, or ensure the quality or safety or consistency. And by that we can evaluate or validate our own medicines, whether it is from Ayurvedic source, whether it is from traditional sources. And there are a lot of evidences of say herb drug interactions when you talk about the safety and quality issues. In fact, we made several works in this particular context with when I was at Jadavpur University, and presently also we are putting that into context that with All India Medical Science, early we work, and we saw that with the overdose or what are the effects come. And like that, if we go through, there are a lot of documents nowadays available where is herb or herb drug interactions it happen. In this context, I will suggest that these are the program on which we work with the Ayush Ministry earlier, and we are continuing that one. There are several reports on that cytochrome P450 enzyme inhibition or induction assay method we have been able to establish, where we feel that there is a need for proving our product, our Ayurvedic herbs are safe. So like when we talk about that, the cytochrome P450 enzymes, this is one of the major things which is responsible for drug metabolizing enzyme. And if we can have this very simple assay established for all the Ayurvedic herbs or even those traditional medicines which are being used, we can have good documents. And on that, through support of Ayush Ministry, through EMR programs, we have established around 20 of such herbs. And one of that was with the mixture as well on this Triphala. As you all you know that this Triphala polyherbal formulations with these three fruits mixed together. And you see, when we talk about today's scenario on this, our metabolomics, LCMS study, GCMS study, cytochrome and analysis, and so on, that we see that this is one of the formulations with all the three herbs contain not only one major metabolite, gallic acid, but also ellagic acid, and both are proven antioxidant, and gallic acid is proven anti-cancer property as well. So that is why Triphala is so effective. Its consumption is so high. It has so much of export potential and so many things. And when we explore this rasayana for this cytochrome inhibition study, we see that there is no inhibition induction effect. That means it is safe in that particular context on the drug metabolism context. So it is not that we are going for isolating a constituents or something like that, but we have to have our own evidence to prove that how
No.
scientific our own product is and how best we can develop the product for a betterment of the.
नहीं मिला? मैंने आपको व्हाट्सएप किया है ना, व्हाट्सएप मिल गया ना?
Ramnath ji, somebody is there.
Yes, there is some disturbance. Can you please?
Yeah, please
You-
proceed.
So on that context, on this Triphala, recently, just last in this year, we have been like it happens in 2020. Then later on, we have come up with the we jointly with this American Herbal Pharmacopoeia. They were working on this Triphala monographs on different contexts, and we had several round of discussions with the Ayurvedic experts, and they have come up with this this Triphala monograph where by which that with historical references from the use of Triphala, and then it come up with the liquid chromatography, mass spectrometry, and different other analysis, and then this comprehensive information regarding history, quality, chemistry, cultivation, processing, handling, and several other contexts. On that, this Triphala monograph was made. This monograph was released in last December 2020, 17th of December by respected Kotecha Sahab, Dr. Kotecha, and the Secretary Ayush, and made by American Pharmacopoeia with involvement of us. And what we feel that when these are many of the documents developed by different other people, but when we combine together and develop the things, it really highlights our own potentials and the strength of our own products, what is existing. The similar is the case of Trika-2, another polyherbal Ayurvedic formulations on which we have been working with for quite some time, and we have with our research what we have been able to establish. This is a work which was published in recently, that on which that this that Trika-2 is effective, and then the same has happened with Trimoda on formulations very recently in 2021. That metabolite profiling and evaluations on the cytochrome P450 interaction potentials in Ayurvedic formulations as well. So this proves that how safe those formulations are. And there are a lot of other parameters need to be studied. This is not the only safety parameter, but at least some documentations on this particular context, which can definitely highlight it in the international forums. And then the people who made that story in 2003, they will be really hesitant to make such story with another formulations in Ayurveda, I believe. So in this particular context, as all of you know, this profiling or the marker is one of the constituent where this reference standard and is one of the major thing, and which can definitely, this marker analysis can help in bioactive compound quantifications or even the spurious drug determination, stability of the study, standardizations, quality and consistency, on which there are a lot of documents has been developed. We have been working, several other institutes have been working. There are several reports on that high performance thin layer chromatography, high performance liquid chromatography, and so on. So now coming to the context of our own system on Ayurveda or traditional medicine, I believe that there are different thought process. One is that we thought about the synergistic approach and the reductionist approach. As you know, the reductionist approach, we can get a drug like our Taxol, aspirin, and artemisinin, and so many things has come. But we must concentrate more on the synergistic approach by which we can promote our own drugs from Ayurveda and other traditional system to a high extent. And when you go on that particular context, as you all know, this Charak Samhita, that's which define the synergy in Ayurveda, and on which we are trying to correlate those effects. That's like in many of the cases when we say that we have very less evidences and there is no mechanistic study and so many other things, but the concept came that we have to go with the active constituent. I believe that we should not concentrate more on the active constituent. It is required for developing our reference standard, of course, but we should give more on the synergistic concept by which we can prove how our whole plant extract or mixture of extracts they are working. And as you all know, that say like we have a multi-target systems with enhanced bioavailability and different other contexts what has been practiced. And this Yoga Baha is one of the contexts on which the things has developed to that extent. So evidence-based validation of traditional medicines. If we think about the translational aspects, there is the we have the traditional knowledge, indigenous medicines on the marker metabolite profiling, metabolomics. Then we should have the network pharmacology or combination synergy and other related aspects to establish the mechanism of actions as well. I'll give you some examples on metabolomics on which I believe that some of those data, if we generate, that can definitely help us to evaluate our own drug. In this context, metabolomics can help in targeted or untargeted secondary metabolite identifications, because when we talk about those active metabolites, active constituent, those are the targeted metabolites. And in many cases, when we talk about the phytopharmaceutical formulations where 4 markers is needed, there are some untargeted metabolites. So this can be possible by this metabolomics, and there it can help in quality control or medicinal plant, their chemotaxonomy of phylogenetic characterizations, identification or quantifications of the adulterants, and in fact help in metabolite profiling, pharmacological and pharmacokinetic studies. And again, this concept of Yoga Baha has a lot many things to do here. The samyoga, or the knowledge of synergistically combining ingredients for the maximum safety and efficacy. What I believe that if this particular context we can develop with this taking the lead from Ayurveda, then many of these polyherbal formulations we can establish in the international market, what our neighboring country they are doing by different other way, and that can really lead us to develop the concept of synergy in Ayurveda for developing our product process in a very high extent. One example, say like you think about the Bacopa moneri, the bacosides, no? We feel that this bacoside is the major constituent, but it is like, say, bacoside itself is the constituent responsible for learning and memory, then we should have bacoside tablet. We get the whole Bacopa moneri extracts. Then there are a lot of other constituents together with LCMS study or the de-replications of the metabolites. We can very well establish the extract LCMS data. And same has been proven even in formulations. This Pancharist, no, you know that Jhandu Pancharist, which is very, very popular. And if you see here that 144 metabolites were identified and 26 was present in different stages of this herbal medicine development, and many of them has been quantified and validated. So it is possible to establish or rather re-establish the fact of effectiveness of our own formulations which are being practiced by our ancestors from years together. And I believe that when we are working with the Ayurvedic product or the traditional medicines, it is not that we are developing something very new or they are discovering something, rather we are rediscovering our own ancestors' medicine. And then this rediscovery can establish the product process in a very, very different way. And one of the interesting things, as all of you know here, that we are exploring our food as our medicine. This is a very interesting thing. And many of those food, what I say, like here is an example with Leuphaya catangula. It is a plant of Cucurbitaceae family, which is used as a carbonic anhydrase inhibitor as a diuretic. And it is a very well used food. At the same time, when you do it's all this enzyme inhibition study to establish the activity, the in vitro, in vivo study, and when we go on this chemical profiling and establishing the fact that this with Q-top MSMS study in presence of phenolic compounds or carbonic anhydrase inhibitors, they prove to be more effective. Same is true for Momordica charantia as well, and many of these we have documented by publications where we see like this in Momordica charantia, the same LCQ to explore the compounds can serve as functional food components can address the obesity related disorders. And this is again true with the Trigonella phonium grassam, the methi seed, which can very well act against hyperlipidemia, hyperglycemia. I am trying to reduce, keeping some slide to reduce the time, but this is very, very true. And very recently we made the same thing with our Ayurvedic herb Kalmek. In fact, this is the things on which we had a discussion with Sastri Saab previously as well. That say this Andrographis paniculata, this has been accepted as one of the major herbs in Thai pharmacopoeia for preventing COVID, and they are documenting it, developing it through the European Union, some other network. And what this on that, when we are working on that, and we found that very well it has the property for the 16 compounds together interacted with 28 targets connected with COVID-19 associated conditions like immunodeficiency, asthma, influenza, viral infection, and this andrographoloid, andrographinidine, andrographine, resveratrol, and stereostilbins are working together to this MAPPK3, RHOA, IL-2, and other factors to combat with the targets which are connected to COVID-19, and which very recently we published in Phytochemical Analysis, the journal, where to prove that this plant belongs to us in India, and we have lot of reference on that, and we can make the things in a very, very different way for proving the efficacy of our own products for the development of the drugs from our nature, drugs from our ancestors. And these are that way we can prove how the synergy can work and how best the synergistic approach can develop or promote our own product for the betterment of the society at large, and rather exploring their use for the particular context. So food as medicine, this is one of the main context on which what Dr. Majid was highlighting, that nutraceutical development has a great role to play, and in fact this is one of the major things by which we can take lead, or rather we can promote the things to a high extent by validating our own science of Ayurveda, or getting more information from the medicinal plants of Ayurveda and medicinal plants from the traditional healers, which is being practiced from years together. And definitely we have to have our own idea, our own context on this, the scientific aspects on the safety and quality. And we have a lot of pharmacopoeial monographs what already Anand Choudhury Sahab has told. I'm not repeating those, but I believe that those pharmacopoeias have well-established monograph, and we can nurture those. We can add with the modern development in the science and technology, and can add more on those particular contexts to promote our own product and process for the better use of those for the healthcare of the community at large. And on that, we believe that the major need is the systematic approach for validation of traditional medicine. This is one of the document what we made in 2015. Now it is in this next edition, where more than 21 countries people, they are contributing how best we can develop on these traditional medicines based on different countries' origin. So this is a document available, and we are making it for the this year itself, where we want to prove that this how best the translation is possible from tradition. So tradition to translations, on that we must work for developing our own product, process, and technologies for the development of these major pharmaceutical or phytopharmaceutical products, for validations of the scientific evidences, exploring the traditional medicines, development of drugs, development of value-added herbal formulations, development of analytical methodologies, and ultimately documenting the safety and efficacy with different context on developing product, process, or technologies from our own, by which we can not only promote our own system of medicines, but also we can have a much more contributions on the healthcare as other countries. So evidence-based Ayurveda, which was in tradition and which is in trend, that has a lot of differences. And I agree with all our other speakers, and in fact the whole motto of today's discussion, that we are having lot of documents, lot of developments on this particular area, and those things in fact we summarized in one article on this in this journal of ethnopharmacology on tradition to trend the development of Ayurveda, which has a very high citation. And what I believe, these promotions, we must have to have our own scientific evidences on every way. Now, this is one thing what I want to tell here. Say, when we talk about the codified system, Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani, and so on, and we talk about the non-codified systems on the traditional healers medicine, the main thing is that we have to have collaboration and cooperation nationally and internationally. And in that case, that the need of the hour is development of medical pluralism. In fact, a lot of efforts has happened in our country for bridging the gap between the medical sciences, different discipline of medical sciences. But there is a, when we talk about the traditional healers medicines, gaps are more there. In fact, the few countries they have reported to have national policy on traditional medicines. In many countries, there is no safety monitoring system or erosion of the traditional lifestyle and culture. And in many cases, there are lack of organized networks of traditional practitioners. So I believe that Sastry Saab, with your able leadership in the ministry and with the different platforms on which we have been working. In fact, Ayush Ministry DBT has signed MOU, Department of Biotechnology. These are all the very new addition involvement with the label leadership of our government in very new perspectives, and the promotions what our Prime Minister, respected Prime Ministers is giving, that really encourage all of us that we must promote medical pluralisms, and these medical pluralisms can build the bridges to increase communications and to support ethical collaborations and cooperations on use of natural products, including the herbs, metals, minerals, which are being used from the Ayurveda and other codified system, and also from our traditional system, but without interfering with the individual autonomy. And then if we can have those medical pluralism developed, then definitely the documentations of those herbs and other particular context for development of the healthcare will be more useful and more effective in every way. And this quality control and evaluation of herbal drugs is one of the major context on that, what we must work on these particular aspects. And I personally believe that both the approach of reductionist and synergistic is very effective for development of drug, but we must think on this.
Interrupting. Now you may have to conclude because other speakers.
Yeah, this is my concluding slide. So we must work on this reimagine ethno-pharmacology, this particular context. And as I told at the beginning, that when we all are thinking the medicinal plants and use of medicinal plants in different perspectives, and whether reimagining ethnopharmacology in different contexts in this COVID-19 scenario, there this establishing the synergistic aspects of working of the medicinal metabolites in medicinal plant can definitely lead us in developing on those particular perspectives, on which the series of webinars we have been organizing from lockdown period till date every Saturday, involving this international and national organization. And we are getting a lot of use for the through this easy use digital platform. And with this, I feel that these healing plants are the nature gifts for everyone. Let us promote those gifts and preserve those gifts, and let us do more science or evidence-based validations of those particular aspects for the development of our own system of medicine, Ayurveda, and other traditional system as well, for the betterment of the healthcare of the society at large. Thank you very much once again. Namaskar.